Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is on every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Watch live on YouTube and make sure to subscribe. Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is presented by Raymond Felton State Farm.
Have you compared insurance rates lately? Are you satisfied with your current insurance provider? If not, look no further than Ray Felton State Farm, a proud sponsor of Sports on Tap. For a free quote, call his office at 234-284-2996 or visit him online at rayfelton.com.
Whether you're hosting a corporate event, wedding, conference, concert, or any other special gathering, our comprehensive range of services will exceed your expectations and elevate your event to new heights. RRT Productions. We shoot, we edit, you win. Visit our website at www.rrt-productions.com.
We've got the experience, the passion, and the beach to make your event a smash hit. Whether it's a romantic wedding, a lively sports venue, or a rocking high school dance, Troutland Entertainment has you covered. Contact them at 330-414-4261 or email them at troutlandent@gmail.com. That's troutlandent@gmail.com.
It's all about the deal at Brunswick Auto Mart. Save big this month with deals like this. Don't miss the Make This the Summer event and lease a new 2025 Ram 1500 Night Edition Crew Cab 4x4 with heated side mirrors, parking sensors, backup cam, Apple CarPlay, and lane departure warning for just $319 a month. Brunswick Auto Mart. Car buying made truly simple.
Sports on Tap. This is a high school football recap show presented by Raymond Felton State Farm Insurance. Check them out at www.rayfelton.com to get a quote on your home, auto, life insurance needs. and any other products he has. You got to listen about him and all of our other tremendous sponsors before the show. We'll break halfway through the show, get another word from them, and then stick around for another word from our sponsors after that. My name is Ed Dick, alongside Rob Troutman, Noah Jacobson, Sean Duffy, and Josh Jeffy. And we have a tremendous show for you tonight. We are watching this live on the YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe and smash the notifications button. Get those notifications. We are about to go live on the air. You can follow us on Twitter /X at SOT Podcast. That's where you're going to get all the live updates for the games that we cover Friday nights for these for the playoff round. You can follow us on Facebook at Sports on Tap. We are on Threads at SOT_podcasts. We are also on Spotify, so check us out on Spotify as well for audio. Our website is sportsontappodcast.com. That's where you're gonna get to see the schedules, see the scores, and where we're gonna be coming up in the following week. And for questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, pronunciation, send those to us at sportsontappodcast@gmail.com. All right, we are now through the regional quarterfinal round. So the seeds 1 through 4 took the field tonight. This past week for their first game in the playoffs, and a lot has been talked about with how those seeds, how they were going to respond with a bye week that they're really not used to having. Some of the stories in the local in the Medina Gazette, Albert Grindle, Rick Nolan, amongst the others, doing a great job, kind of chronicling what the Medina County teams at the very least did during their byes. I think as we go through the recaps, you'll see that the bye weeks, that they treated most of these teams pretty well. We have 3 games we need to go over as well. In Division 3, we had 2 in Division 3 Region 10 and 1 in Division 2 Region 6. But we're going to go through Division 1 Region 1, Division 2 Region 5, Division 2 Region 6, and Division 3 Region 10. After we get through those, we will talk to senior running back from Highland, Casey Myser, at around 8:25. And we'll talk to senior running back / defensive back Gavin Madigan from Wadsworth at around 8:40-ish. And then we'll talk about where we are going next week, and possibly preview some of the games for the following week. So we got a lot to get to tonight, and without further ado, let's get to it for Division 1 Region 1. We did have a couple games. We have Rob and Noah here that can speak to this. Let's start with Rob first, since he's got one game, and then Noah can wrap it up. So Rob, why don't you talk about how Berea Mid-Park did against St. Ed's?
All right, thanks, Ed. And yeah, it was the number 8 seed Berea Mid-Park Titans against the number 1 St. Edward Eagles, and it was Kent State commit Brandon White for St. Edward. He ran for 232 yards and 4 touchdowns. This was in the first half. So the Eagles, they racked up 365 rushing yards as a team and 414 overall, and they held the Berea Mid-Park offense to 242 yards. St. Edwards, though, they had a really impressive first quarter, scoring 21 points. Again, 2 touchdowns by running back Brandon White, 1 touchdown by tight end Joe Moore. Berea Mid-Park, though, they would get on the board as running back Xavier Harden scored a touchdown to cut the lead 21-7. And Dylan Papashak, he led that touchdown drive and was impressive on that drive. And the next series, it looked like maybe the tides were turning a little bit as St. Edward had an interception thrown and caught by Dylan Maddox of the Berea Mid-Park Titans. And just when you thought maybe the Berea Mid-Park Titans were coming back, they drove inside the Eagles' 10-yard line. But a huge turning point in the game. They came away empty after missing a field goal attempt on 4th and long, and really from that point on, it was St. Edward who controlled the game. It was 35-7 at half, and St. Edward in this game gets a 45-14 win as they advance to the next round. Some statistics for the Berea Mid-Park Titans is Dylan Papashak. He was 19 of 29 passing for 220 yards. He did add a 1-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter. It was wide receiver Nick Reese. He's been his main guy all year. 11 catches for 111 yards. And Maddox, he had 6 receptions for 95 yards to go along with his interception. The victory, though, for St. Edwards, this is the sixth game this season. They have scored 40 or more points, and the Eagles are 7-0 at home this season. They're the top seed, and we'll talk about where they will head next. But for Berea Mid-Park, they finish at 7-5 on the season. A really good season for them, in which I think we saw a lot of progress from Berea Mid-Park. Yes, they lost big to St. Edward here, but St. Edward is a really, really good team. And I think we saw Berea Mid-Park's offense improve as the season went along. I think they found out some things this year. And overall, their defense was getting better as the season went along, but they really have to stop the run. I think that's the key for the Titans in the offseason, is figure out that defense and force some more turnovers here, which they forced a turnover in this game, but it wasn't enough. Again, St. Edward 45, Berea Mid-Park 14.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Rob. I mean, there's really no shame in losing to a team like St. Ed's, but Berea Mid-Park really gave them the best shot. Obviously, Coach Hunick's quite familiar with St. Ed's, but it's been quite a while since he's been there. But yeah, they worked. They ended the season on a 3-game winning streak, including a good victory over Cleveland Heights. Certainly a lot to be. They might not have. Overall, a good season for Berea Mid-Park. Anytime you get a chance to host a playoff game and win a playoff game at home, that sets the stage for something, for hopefully a stepping stone for something going forward for the next year. I know Coach Hunick would much rather be playing this week, but all things considered, a good season and a lot to look forward to in the offseason there, Rob.
Absolutely. And on Berea Mid-Park, a lot of juniors on that team coming back. So they'll have a really good season, I think, coming up with all the talent they have. I think they learned a lot this season.
Absolutely. All right, with that, we'll shift over to Noah Jacobson. He'll take care of, he's got 2 recaps, and he'll talk a little bit about the Whitmer and Perrysburg game as well.
All right, thank you, Ed. And we'll start with the Toledo Whitmer getting a 17-3 win against the number 5 seed Perrysburg Yellow Jackets in this game. Medina, the number 11 seed, they were taking on the number 3 seed Cam McKinley Bulldogs at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and they ran into a juggernaut as the Bulldogs of Cam McKinley would get a 30-7 win against the Bees. Medina quarterback Beckett Vogren was 13-31 for 123 yards and a touchdown and 2 interceptions. His touchdown pass came from Ashton Knowles in this game. Despite the loss for Medina, their players left their heads up high after upsetting the number 6 seed Strongsville Mustangs in the first round of the playoffs, as that will end Medina's season at 4-8. Medina will be heading to the Suburban League Natty next year in 2026 after an 11-year run in the Greater Cleveland Conference with 2 GCC titles in 2021 and 2022, and they end their GCC record with a record of 38-32. So what a great season for Medina, despite not having the record that it is at 4-8, but a big accomplishment with the first round playoff win going against the second time around the Strongsville Mustangs. So again, despite the loss, I feel like they got a bright future ahead of themselves to look at for 2026 going to the Suburban League 90 next year. And then the number 2 seed, the GCC champion Menor Cardinals were taking on the number 6 seed Jackson Polar Bears in this game. Menor earned themselves a first round bye, and they came out and they did what they've been doing all season long, guys, is they took a 52-6 win against Massillon Jackson. I want to say congratulations, though, to Menor running back and Kent State commit Jackson Farley. He was the Fox State Friday Night Touchdown Player of the Year in this game, so I just wanted to say congratulations to him on winning that award. And what another great game he had. He had 4 carries for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game. Quarterback Brogan Jones was 15 of 18 for 191 yards and 4 touchdowns. His 2 touchdowns came from Miami commit wide receiver Justin Hutch, who had 4 catches and 85 yards on the night. Running back Braylon Callahan also had a touchdown in this game. And then his 2 other touchdowns for Brogan Jones came from Brady Trevisano and that. Ben Shinek also had an interception for the Cardinals. And Danny Cristo, the Menor kicker, had to nail a 37-yard field goal in this game as Menor would advance to the regional semifinals with a 52-6 win against Massillon Jackson. Ed, that is it for the Division I Region 1 recap, and we will look into the Division I Region 1 semifinals in a little bit.
Hey, great job, Noah. As you mentioned, Medina wrapping up their season this year. I mean, obviously not where they wanted to finish record-wise either. But again, a big upset on the road against a rival. And we don't know how it's going to shake out as far as the non-conferences next year. But with them moving to the Suburban League Natty, Medina's got a whole lot of change coming up next year with a whole new slate of opponents. So that's something that'll be certainly exciting as Medina shifts from Noah to Josh as far as coverage is concerned. And as you mentioned, Mentor's just on a roll right now. I had a feeling whoever's going to win the Brunswick-Jackson game was going to have their hands full, and that proved out to be very, very right. So Coach Gray's got Mentor going real well right now, and they're on quite a roll. So Noah's got at least one more game coming up as well with Mentor moving on in their Division 1, Region 1. All right, let's shift over to Division 2, Region 5. And this will be mostly Josh with a couple natty teams still left in here. So he'll actually take all of Division 2, Region 5 once you have it popped up on the screen here.
All right, thanks a lot, Ed. Yeah, this is pretty much going chalk. We'll talk about the two games that did not include teams from our coverage area. The first one, it was the number 3 seeded Austintown Fitch. They defeated the 11th seeded Green Bulldogs 28-25. Green pulled to within those 3 points late in the fourth quarter. They attempted an onside kick, but it was not successful. So Austintown Fitch went on to the 28-25 victory. The top seed in the region is Akron Archbishop Hoban. They had no problem with Youngstown Boardman. They came away with a 38-0 victory. That is Tim Tyrell, the head coach of Hoban, his 150th win overall as the coach of the night. So congratulations to him as they move on to the regional semifinals. Now, as you mentioned, Ed, 2 natty teams are we're still alive going into the week. We're going to start off with the 7th-seeded Nordonia Knights. They took on the 2nd-seeded Walsh Jesuit Warriors, and they came away with a 49-18 loss in this one. Then this game was Marty Tobin's game from the beginning. The Walsh running back on the very first play from scrimmage scored on an 80-yard touchdown run. He would actually end the night with 3 touchdowns and 266 yards rushing in this pretty handy defeat of the Knights. For the Knights in this one, Connor Wapham and Colin Atha each scored touchdowns. Riley Edgehouse did add a 30-yard field goal. Nordonia quarterback Stephen Faycult finished the game with 195 yards passing and 58 yards rushing. On the other side, on Walsh quarterback David Ternosky finished with only 83 passing yards, but he did have 2 touchdowns, and just a tough matchup for the Knights as they fall in this one 49-18, ending their season. A very successful season, in my opinion. Nordonia is always one of those teams that's looking to be right up there in the regional quarterfinals, regional semifinals. So more likely with Stephen Faycult being only a junior this year, they're going to be right back there next year. The other matchup in Division 5 or Division 2, Region 5, the Hudson Explorers continued on with their tough defense, and it was pretty much the Nathan Judy show in this one. He caught a touchdown and he threw for a touchdown in this one as Hudson, the 5th-seeded Hudson Explorers, defeated number 4 Uniontown Lake 14-12. Hudson defense intercepted Lake quarterback Alex Quar 4 times in this one. Anthony Paolucci had 2 of them and a receiving touchdown in this game. Now, Uniontown Lake was driving late in the fourth quarter, but that Hudson defense, who has tossed 6 shutouts this year, which I believe is a school record, was able to force Lake to a turnover on downs, securing the win. Now, I mentioned Nathan Judy. He was a guest on our show a few weeks ago. He did have 2 touchdowns in this game, but he had 94 yards passing, 53 yards rushing, and 33 yards receiving, not to mention the work that he did on defense. You have to remember he was up for one of the he was nominated for Defensive Player of the Year by the Akron Beacon Journal. So dude was putting in some work, chocolate milk type effort for him. Some other stats from Hudson. Louis Casterlin had 85 yards receiving for Hudson, and Hudson's normal starting quarterback, Hayden Lipinski, added 139 yards passing in this game. So Hudson will move on to the regional semis.
And you mentioned this. I mean, Nordonia and Hudson, specifically in this region, generally have a little bit. They generally find some success. Hudson, it's usually, unfortunately, when they run into some of the parochial schools. I mean, Walsh Jesuit and Hoban's pretty much run this region for as much as Avon has run Division II, Region 6 for years now, and Nordonia running into Hoban when they did. It's just a matter of time of when you're going to run in one of those teams, and it just happened to be Nordonia's week this week. And as you mentioned, a great effort by Nordonia. Sometimes you're playing against a team that's just a little bit better, and Nordonia faced that reality here. Hudson and Lake, this was a great game. We talked about this game being a really, really good 4-5 matchup with a potential for a 5 to upset the 4 there, Josh. And Hudson just keeps plugging along. Their only 2 losses are to Highland and Wadsworth, who are both currently still playing.
Yeah, right.
Division 2, Region 6. Spoiler alert, but I think everybody knew that. So, I mean, Hudson's a really good team, and it's going to be their next matchup will be a battle, which we'll get to here in a little bit, Josh.
Yeah, and they're finding different ways to win. And Nathan Judy, he was in the Wildcat in this game. He played quarterback in the past, but that's another weapon that wasn't much so utilized during the regular season for the Explorers, so they're busting out the weapons. But real quick, got to give props to Green, the 11th seed, really taking it to Austintown Fitch. In fact, they were up 17-14 late into the third quarter when Austintown Fitch finally were able to secure the lead, and then they came back. So, could that possibly have been one of those things where that first, that bye week that they had maybe was a little sluggish? Same thing for Lake. Maybe that bye week caused them to be a little sluggish. Who knows?
Green played a really good schedule too. They're a Federal League team, and Austintown ends up playing a lot of those teams as well, just as a non-conference league. So I think these two teams are pretty familiar with each other, and just maybe not on the field, but just with common opponents.
Right.
Austintown Fitch is fantastic. Right. Their only loss is to Hudson. So, first, as the Macho Man likes to say, the cream is starting to rise to the top here. The teams that they have lost to are mostly still in the playoffs. So that's where we're at now. The teams that are still in it are losing to teams that are also still in it in the regular season. So great job, Josh, for Division II, Region 5. And let's shift over to Division II, Region 6. And lots to talk about here, and we should
just rename this region the SOT region. I mean,
we might as well. Yeah, you got a point there. So we got a little bit of everything going on here. Rob has the game of the week here. So how about we start with let's start with Josh and Sean with Highland and Brecksville, then we'll shift over to Wadsworth, and then we'll go back to the SWC from there.
All right. Well, the number 1 seeded Highland Hornets came off their second bye week of the 2025 campaign, and it was very much like their first bye week in the sense that they kind of cruised to a dominating victory over the Brecksville Broadview Heights. The Bees were no match for the Hornets in this game. We talk about our guest, Casey Myser. Let's just talk about the kid. He's wildly efficient when he runs the ball. He scored 3 touchdowns on 104 yards and 14 carries. He had a touchdown for 5 yards, 13 yards, and 33 yards in this game, accounting for 21 of the 38 points for Highland. You want some more stats from Highland? Grady Gibbs, starting quarterback, perfect on the night, 7 of 7, 131 yards. Also rushed for 57 yards and a touchdown in this game. Dylan Lazar kicked in a rushing touchdown as well. On the defensive side of the ball, they were led by Nick Dubkowski, who started this game off, guys, with an interception to set them up to start this snowball effect that Highland seems to get on very early. As Highland rolls to a 38-7 victory, they move on, surprise, surprise, in this game. Again, Highland's defense is something we need to really focus on as we go down this crucial playoff run here. They are not allowing teams to score on them. They're not allowing teams to get any sort of momentum offensively, and it's creating mistakes that the offense is taking advantage of. This is complementary football at its best. Coach Gibbons has to be thrilled with the way this team is playing, but also has to be thrilled with the way that Casey Myser has really been a leader on this team all year. And it's not been putting up gaudy numbers. He has the capability to do that, but he's spreading the wealth. Grady Gibb has really flourished into his own quarterback, into a very good, efficient quarterback, doing exactly what he's needed to do in these games all throughout the year. He's had some big games, but he's also had very good games where he's been very efficient in getting the ball out and not making crucial mistakes. And that's given a lot of confidence to this Highland team going forward. Josh?
Well, I mean, you mentioned that defense, and we should note that Brecksville was out there starting running back Jacob Materovich in this game. He was not involved, but I really don't think it would have mattered the way that the Highland defense was really playing. Brecksville only managed 188 yards of total offense in this game, and 80 of it came late in the fourth quarter with a Peter Tremonti 80-yard touchdown run. He had 135 yards rushing in this game, but without that run, before it was only 108 yards of total offense. So you could pretty much say that Highland was dominating this game. Nate Henniger only had 44 yards passing in this game. So, they, no pun intended here, but pun intended, they ran into a buzzsaw with the Hornets, but get it? But, for Brecksville, if you look at their season overall, they had a really good year. The Natty is no joke when it comes to playing that conference schedule. They were able to finish 8th in the region to get a first round home game, which is, I know for a lot of teams like Brecksville, it's something that's a really big accomplishment for them. It's something that can, have that a program builder, which it could be. But they had some good senior leadership this year that led them to a good playoff run. Now they're going to have to see who can step up next year. They actually moved to the American next year, so that's going to be for Sean. So we're going to be trading the Hornets for the Bees. So it's going to be interesting. Sean,
get used to me saying the Bees.
I know, back at it.
Freaking week.
It's like it's meant to be. But overall, great season by Brecksville. They just ran into one of the best teams in the area, and that's Highland. Probably one of the best teams in the state.
No doubt about that. So a great season by Brecksville. There's no shame in losing to a team like Highland. And you mentioned you get a home game, you get a home playoff game, and you win. A lot of coaches will sign up for that, knowing that you have a shot at the number 1 seed in the playoffs. And Highland just keeps moving on, and we'll hear from Casey Myser a little bit later in the show. All right, Josh, you also had the number 2 seed here in Division II, Region 6. Why don't you talk about that game?
Yeah, number 2, Wadsworth. They defeated the 7th-seeded Toledo St. Francis de Sales. Now, guys, looking at this all year, when we're talking about Wadsworth and Highland, these two teams are very, very similar with a stout running game, a stout defense, and very, very efficient quarterback play. In this game, once again, for Wadsworth, our guest a little bit later, Gavin Madigan and Cooper Gray teamed up for 193 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. It's the same story every week, it appears, with this team. Wide receiver Calix Lemp had 2 touchdown receptions, 118 yards. Bryce Hall, a very efficient night, 2 touchdowns, 192 yards passing. The Wadsworth defense, when you're talking about them, only gave up 171 yards total offense. So it's like we're saying this, we're giving the same recap, but now that we did with Highland, except this time it's Wadsworth. Really just solid team effort. Again, they are really focused. Coach Todd and that staff has this team focused, and I think they did a very good job because they know if they were to win that game, what would be after that, which is a big elephant in the room when you're talking about this region. But they did a really good job focusing and taking care of business in this one. Again, 34-7 victory they're moving on.
Yeah, great job by the Grizzlies. As you mentioned, I mean, Wadsworth and Highland, as you said, they're mirror images of each other, and which not terribly surprising given the pedigree of both coaches. But Wadsworth took a really good St. Francis de Sales team down pretty good. I mean, they play in a tough league up in Toledo. They play some Detroit teams in the Catholic School League up there. So a decisive victory over a very good team for Wadsworth. All right, Rob. Rob's got. We'll go to the SWC now. We'll start with the number 4 seed. These two teams are quite familiar with each other from the playoffs of the past. We got number 4 North Ridgeville versus number 5 Anthony Wayne.
Yeah, and Ed, North Ridgeville's defense, I mean, what a job they did holding Anthony Wayne to only 7 points in this game, forcing 4 turnovers and piled up 392 yards and 6 touchdowns themselves on offense. North Ridgeville senior quarterback Cole Miller, he finished with 4 touchdowns, and what an impact he's had offensively. You know, missing a few offensive pieces for the year on offense. He had 1 passing and 3 rushing touchdowns to go with 300 total yards. He threw for 203 yards and ran for another 97. But Miller, he got the Rangers on the board in this game. It was their second drive, 16-yard pass to Dylan DeShazo. It was 7-0. Then before half, he ran for 2 more touchdowns. The first was a 59-yard pass to Mason Allison on 3rd and 6 that set up the Rangers from the 1-yard line, and Miller would score. At this point, it was 14-7, so a close game. But then North Ridgeville really ran away with this one. Running backs Matthew Flesher and Luke Bartell each ran for a touchdown in the second half. The two combined for 100 yards and 19 carries. And North Ridgeville's defense, they limited the Generals to only 10 first downs in this game, and Anthony Wayne only recorded 119 total yards and 16 rushing yards in this game. North Ridgeville's Carter Clark, he had 2 interceptions on the way to a 42-7 win as the number 4 North Ridgeville Rangers. They improved to 10-1 on the season, and what an impressive job by the Rangers in this game. Again, their defense really played well, and I know Coach Morgan was very excited and pumped up the way his team played. As he said, nobody thought North Ridgeville would make it and have the season they had this year. So I know he's playing the underdog role with his team, and they're eating it up right now. Again, a 42-7 winner there. All right, the game of the week that I went to, it was Avon hosting Olmsted Falls, and we'll get that game on the screen so you can see a little bit of the video there. But Avon in this game, they really had their offense rolling on all cylinders. First quarter, quarterback Blake Elder connected with Grant Barr on a 63-yard touchdown pass. Receiver Finn Jordanic got loose on a 64-yard reverse. And then it was Elder again to Barr, his favorite target, 33-yard scoring strike with 31 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Olmsted Falls did get on the board with an Owen Singleton touchdown. The extra point was no good, and Avon at this point led 26-6 in the game. Avon's defense, though, they played really fast and kind of held the Bulldogs in check. And one thing Mike Elder said was the reason they actually took the ball to start the game because they said if they could score a touchdown or get on the board, they liked their chances with Olmsted Falls trying to come from behind in the game since they ran that triple option. Whenever they're down, if they get down too much, it's tough to come back with the triple option is one thing Coach Elder said. But again, Olmsted Falls, they relied on Cam Pesh passing to try to get back into it, but they really couldn't get enough big plays. Cam Pesh, the quarterback for Olmsted Falls, he had 23 passes in this game, which is unusual for him. 14 of 23 for 148 yards and interception. Owen Singleton, we're used to him and Logan Connolly having a big game. Singleton had 34 yards rushing on 14 carries and a touchdown. And Keegan Smith led the receivers, 7 catches, 77 yards. And look at the highlight video. Here's one pass. It was Elder to Barr, and this was a heck of a play, bouncing off tackles, and he took it to the house. Just a great job overall. Blake Elder getting the job done. 15 of 19, 256 yards, 2 touchdowns. Grant Barr, he had 3 catches, but for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. Finn Jordanic, 8 receptions, 77 yards. And not to mention, he rushed for a touchdown. Keontae Smith, he returned from an injury that sidelined him since week 5, and it was in the Olmsted Falls game that he went out. He had 7 carries, 47 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Michael Colburn, he also was back in this game. He was hurt also in the Olmsted Falls game. 4 carries, 18 yards, and a touchdown. And Cam Wendell, 6 carries, 17 yards. So they're spreading it out, not overpowering with one running back. They're spreading it out there. Avon with a big win in this one. Again, 46-13 as Olmsted Falls ends their season at 7-5. Avon improves to 10-1. And the victory marks the 5th consecutive postseason meeting between Avon and Olmsted Falls, and the Eagles winning all 5 of those games. But you know, it's tough when it comes to Avon. They just are dominating, and they have the depth. Olmsted Falls, they haven't defeated Avon since 2013, so that's, you know, hopefully.
Oh man, that's got to be so frustrating.
Yeah, you know, it's tough. I mean, once Avon gets ahead, their defense is a bend but don't break defense. I mean, they allowed a little bit of yardage, but they just have so much depth. If you would have saw the sidelines, I mean, they go, you know, 3-4 deep, and they're not afraid to use that depth to their advantage there. And Olmsted Falls got down 2 deep in this one early in the first quarter, which happened in week 5 as well. They got down 21-0 and lost 28-0. In this game, they got down, I believe it was 26-0 at one point. So tried to climb back and it was just too much. So Avon advancing in this one.
Hey, congratulations to Avon moving on. That's a tremendous stat you put up there with Olmsted Falls having not defeated Avon since 2013, and that's with including multiple playoff appearances in there. So it's not like we're talking 12 games. I mean, we're talking probably closer to 20, but when you factor in the playoffs. And to be fair, a lot of teams, Avon has a lot of teams' numbers. It's not just an Olmsted Falls thing.
Yeah.
But what we know about Olmsted Falls, they're a really good team. They play really tough, and with that triple option offense, they have a really good chance to really beat anybody. And you mentioned in Coach Elder's interview, in addition to talking about taking the ball first, you know, he was a little apprehensive about having that bye week at first, but you know, I think he appreciated having some extra time to prepare for the wing T or for the triple option again, even though you already seen it earlier in the year. You know, you don't normally practice against a team that runs that offense. It's a specialized offense. It's not easy to practice against. But really, if there's any team that can simulate it as good as an Olmsted Falls, it would be a team like Avon with the athletes that they have, the coaching staff they have. And you know, certainly no shame with Coach DeLuca and the Olmsted Falls Bulldogs, losing to Avon. But a good season by Olmsted Falls by any measure there. And North Ridgeville, as you mentioned, a huge victory over White House Anthony Wayne, and we'll see. Looking forward to seeing what they can do in the next round, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. All right, let's shift over to Division III, Region 10. These do feature Cleveland West Conference teams, the champion and the runner-up, but those happen to be 2 of our featured games of the week. So I'll go through the other 2 games first. We did have number 2, Wapakoneta, with a big victory over Lima Shawnee by a count of 41-16. Wapakoneta is they are on a roll right now. They are currently 11-0. Now they are the Redskins with a victory over the Indians. Wow. Okay. I'm glad those teams still exist in high school. That's good to hear. In the other game, we have Lexington hosting Central Catholic from Toledo. And I don't think there's really any surprise here. Lexington, a great season in their own right. The Minutemen falling to Central Catholic by a count of 49-18. And we talked about this. Central Catholic plays in that same, excuse me, again, I'll choked up about this. Central Catholic plays in that same league that's St. Francis de Sales plays in. They played a lot of tough teams, a lot of teams in Detroit, and really, they're the odds-on favorite to win, no matter who else is in this region. So until someone knocks them off, it's Central's to win. So Catholic with a 49-18 victory over Lexington. Let's start with wow, so stuck in my throat. Noah, Buckeye, St. Mary's, take it away and save this, please.
All right, thank you, Ed. And yes, I was very thrilled to be back out at Buckeye. Always appreciative going back out there on that grass field. It was a little bit of a muddy field due to the fact that it was raining on Friday morning, but still a little bit of a muddy field. But not to like playoff football at Buckeye. And then when you get to the regional quarterfinals, when you play against the number 1 seed at Buckeye Bucks, they took on the number 8 seed St. Mary's Memorial Rough Riders. They traveled 2 hours to Buckeye, and they just ran into a better team as the Buckeye Bucks came out hot when Turner Delight threw a touchdown pass to Ryan Wilhelm from 63 yards on their opening drive of the game and that. And then Buckeye followed it through when Ryan Wilhelm would get his second touchdown, his first rushing touchdown, and he had a passing touchdown in this game. And then with 13 seconds left to go in the game, it was Liam Phillips who scored a touchdown from 80 yards with 13 seconds left in the go in the second quarter, which gave them to 19-0 lead with great momentum going into the second half. And it will fall up again as Liam Phillips will get his second touchdown on the night in the second half. Give credit to Buckeyes defense because I felt like they played by far their best game and retrospective after earning that first round bye in the game. Dennis Sevchenko had 2 sacks for 15 yards of a loss. Roman Kredler had 2 sacks for 26 yards loss and an interception. 2 guys had a TFL and an interception. That would be Derek Snyderberg and Logan Lettner in this game. Buckeye quarterback Turner Delato was 3 of 4 for only 82 yards and a touchdown, which came from Ryan Wilhelm, who was from 63 yards. He also did have 10 carries for 30 yards and a touchdown in this game. And then running back Liam Phillips had 18 carries for 177 yards and 2 touchdowns, including that 80-yard touchdown in this game. As the number 1 seed Buckeye Bucks would get a 26-0 win against the number 8 seed St. Mary's Memorial's Rough Riders. Here's this from the Medina Gazette, boys. In the program's 72-year history, this year they became the first team ever, the first team in program history to have an 11-0 season in Buckeye Bucks history. That is the credit to how this Buckeye Bucks team came out and just dominated the St. Mary's Memorial's Rough Riders in this game as they advanced to their 3rd regional semifinal appearance in program history, and it sets up a matchup between 2 teams that are very similar in this game, as we'll get a little bit later into this one. And I also had a chance to talk with Buckeye head coach Greg Dennison and 2 of his star running backs, Liam Phillips and Ryan Wilhelm. What a great night that those 2 guys had, as Buckeye would get a 26-0 win against St. Mary's Memorial's Rough Riders. Ed, we'll send it right back to you.
Hey, Noah, great job in the coverage there between Buckeye and St. Mary's. We seen what you got to witness what we've been talking about all year with Buckeye, their ability to run the ball. They averaged 6.7 yards a carry, which is a little bit down than what we've seen in the last few games when they're averaging around 7, 8, 9 yards a carry. But talk about how they were able to just move bodies around to let running backs like Phillips and Wilhelm and Kretler just run through them.
Yeah, I felt like it was the offensive line, a.k.a. the Hogs, when we talk about it with Ryan Wilhelm and Braden Sapko on the show a couple weeks ago. I was kind of talking to them about that on the post-game interview after the game on Friday night, and they were talking about how they have been a factor, not just this game, but all year. That's how they've been the pinnacle point of how they earned that number 1 seed and are right now just still making history every week, it feels like, with those 3 running backs. And that sets up a huge matchup. I think by far the biggest matchup in Division III, Region 10 against Rocky River at home. It's going to be an exciting matchup, and I'm really excited to watch in this game.
The atmosphere at Buckeye is going to be phenomenal. Obviously a familiar opponent, which we'll get to hear shortly. You can't you can't say enough about Buckeyes defense either. The Buckeyes defense shut out a team that ran for a lot of yards last week against a good Copley team. So for Buckeye to be able to do what they did against Memorial was nothing short of stellar. And Turner Delata, again, when Buckeye is running their offense the way they want it to, he's not throwing the ball very often, but he's pretty efficient. 3 for 4, 1 long touchdown, 82 yards. So if he has to throw the ball, he can, but he doesn't have to very often. But as we get into the later rounds, I imagine that will change a little bit. So great job, Noah, in your first foray into Buckeye on that grass field there, which will get at least one more game coming up this year. All right, let's shift over to the runners-up of both the Cleveland West Conference and the Suburban League American Conference. Josh was at this one between number 4 Revere and number 5 Rocky River.
Yeah, it was a cool, misty start of this game, real playoff-like atmosphere, and this is how the game really played out. Very physical game between these two. It was Revere who got on the board first. Chase Clifford, the quarterback for the Minutemen, was able to score on a 5-yard rushing TD. Then in the second quarter, Rocky River was able to get a field goal from Eric Gorius and then a 27-yard touchdown pass from Ryan Taylor to Rowan Kennedy to make the score 9-7 at the half. This game, however, in the third quarter, give props to the Minutemen defense. They were able to stop Rocky River twice deep in Minutemen territory, but on fourth down, but they were not able to convert or and do anything with that. And then it was Rowan Kennedy again from Ryan Taylor, this time from 79 yards. It really opened it up for Rocky River, made the score 16-7. Then Chase Clifford actually caught a touchdown pass later on, but then it was our guest last week, Tristan Hughes. He was able to take a little screen pass, take it 36 yards to the house. Really great run for a touchdown, and that actually ended up being the final score, 23-14, as Rocky River goes on to win against the number 4 seeded Revere Minutemen. In this game, Rocky River quarterback Ryan Taylor, he finished the game with 303 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Rowan Kennedy had those 2 touchdown receptions and 149 yards receiving. For Revere, Chase Clifford, he did everything in this game. 79 yards passing, 39 yards rushing with the TV, and he also had that receiving touchdown, but he left the game late with an apparent leg injury. He was just really, really sad at the end of that game. His season ended, but give props to Rocky River. Came out after a physical battle last week against Midview with their victory 20-15 last week. Came out, Coach Wells at the end of the game had a chance to talk to him. He knew this was going to be a very physical game. Revere's running game with Perry, he had 120 yards rushing in this one. He knew they were going to come out and had to be physical, and they matched that on the defensive end. And then their offense, it was just kept chipping away. Then there were some big plays that really put it away for them as they move on next week, as Noah mentioned, to play Buckeye.
Yeah, this was we're looking forward to this battle too. I mean, the 4-5 matchups really in each of the regions that we covered were really good on paper, with the exception of North Ridgeville and Anthony Wayne. So really good games. Yeah. Specifically the ones that involved our teams.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention too, because that bye week has been a very kind of a hot topic, especially this year. It's the first year that they had it. And Coach Wells he actually mentioned that he's happy that they didn't have the bye week. The way that his team is playing, he likes to have that physicality, just kept it going. So, he was kind of thankful that they didn't have it so they could keep that steam engine rolling.
Not only that, and they got a really good opponent in their first matchup against Midview, who was also physical, and they run the ball a lot. So they got a good look at another team that plays very similar to Revere in their first round matchup. So obviously they have different athletes and different variations of how they run the ball. But you have to think that they were physically prepared for a team like Revere because of the game they had against Midview.
And I want to give a shout out. This is They're not a sponsor or anything, but Travel and Tom's Coffee was there. It's a great coffee food truck. Love them. Glad to see that they're out there. So, Sean, I believe you're going to the Highland matchup. They'll be there. So if you want to get a coffee, by all means, my friend.
Because they weren't at the Revere. They weren't at the Revere Copley game when I went to Revere.
Well, they were there. I had to get a coffee, and then I saw you can follow them on Facebook. Really, unpaid testimonial. One of my favorite things out there. They're going to be at Highland.
So how was it? What was it out of 10?
Fancy coffees with like the bear mug, or just a regular?
I was just a regular coffee with a little bit of half and half in there, just enough to warm the innards and feel good and get ready for the game.
The innards.
Wow.
So a great season by Revere. One of their best seasons, probably their best season since we've started covering Revere, and they've been on an upward trajectory as we've been covering them. Coach Nickel getting them to a really, really good spot. Save for a loss against Aurora, they had a really, really good season. Again, a lot of teams lose to Highland, so that loss against Highland, not a big deal really. But Revere proved that they can hang with the rest of the teams in that conference, and that victory over Copley was absolutely huge. Now, even though Revere didn't get the win here, they earned themselves a playoff spot, a first-round bye, and a home playoff berth. Again, that's really what it's about. If you're able to host a playoff game, there's nothing like that type of an atmosphere when you're able to bring a playoff game to your home field. So Rocky River had that last week against Midview. And now they're going to be Road Warriors, having defeated Revere, and now facing a familiar foe in Buckeye. It'll be a rematch of the two-time running CWC championship game. Both of them won by Buckeye, so they get another crack at Buckeye, and we'll talk a little bit more about that game here in a little bit. All right, we have a little bit of time left over here. We will be joined by. Just to tell you about what we have going on next, we will be joined by Casey Myser from Highland here shortly, and then after that we'll be joined by Gavin Madigan from Wadsworth. I want to do a quick shout out here. We'll get this out of the way now. A couple shout outs. First, congratulations to our favorite Northern Virginia team, Patriot. They did clinch the district title last week, so they finished 8-2 in the regular season, and that's after an 0-2 start. So Jack Fowler's Patriots, the Patriot team, high school, they are in the playoffs. They just missed out on a home playoff game by 1/10 of a computer point. So they will be on the road. They did some damage in the playoffs last year on the road to the regional finals. So we'll see if they're able to replicate that this year. So congratulations and good luck to Patriot and Jack Fowler this coming week. And also. Major news for us here at Sports on Tap. As football season is rapidly concluding, we are going to start ramping up our coverage of the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League. For those of you who don't know, we are the official media partner for the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League. And so that includes we will do a preview show, talk to a few coaches from the hockey teams, and then we'll do live streaming of hockey games. We'll be going to arenas, doing live streams, play-by-play, tremendous camera work, and Josh running the board, Rob running the cameras, along with his brother Jeff, me and Sean on the call, Noah getting the ice shots and updating social media. So we got a lot of stuff going on for hockey coming up here soon, and that's going to lead us to the Barron Cup tournament, which takes place in February. So we're a little bit of ways away from that, but we wanted to get something out there. We wanted to mention that now. Even though football season is concluding, our season is not.
So you also have to remember, now it's getting time. We're getting close. The snow's falling, so that's almost time for the doctor to be in session. Dr. Hoops is going to be out. Going to be out at local gym, so be prepared for that.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by senior running back from Highland, Casey Myser. He'll be joining our show to talk about the Highland Hornets, talk about his ascent through the program and through the Medina County record books. And then after that, we'll talk to Gavin Madigan and talk about where we are going next week. This is Sports on Tap's coverage of the high school football season, the playoffs. We are wrapping up the coverage of the regional quarterfinals and looking forward to the regional semifinals. And we will be right back.
Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is on every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Watch live on YouTube and make sure to subscribe. Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is presented by Raymond Felton State Farm.
Have you compared insurance rates lately? Are you satisfied with your current insurance provider? If not, look no further than Ray Felton State Farm, a proud sponsor of Sports on Tap. For a free quote, call his office at 234-284-2996 or visit him online at rayfelton.com.
Whether you're hosting a corporate event, wedding, conference, concert, or any other special gathering, our comprehensive range of services will exceed your expectations and elevate your event to new heights. RRT Productions. We shoot, we edit, you win. Visit our website at www.rrt-productions.com.
We've got the experience, the passion, and the beach to make your event a smash hit. Whether it's a romantic wedding, a lively sports venue, or a rocking high school dance, Troutland Entertainment has you covered. Contact them at 330-414-4261 or email them at troutlandent@gmail.com. That's troutlandent@gmail.com.
It's all about the deal at Brunswick Auto Mart. Save big this month with deals like this. Don't miss the Make This the Summer event and lease a new 2025 Ram 1500 Night Edition Crew Cab 4x4 with heated side mirrors, parking sensors, backup cam, Apple CarPlay, and lane departure warning for just $319 a month. Brunswick Auto Mart. Car buying made truly simple.
Welcome back to Sports on Tap. This is a high school football recap show presented by Raymond Felton State Farm Insurance. So we want to thank him along with all of our sponsors you just got to hear about. Stick around for the end of the show to hear another word from our tremendous sponsors. All right, we went through all the recaps from the four regions that are still going for the SOT coverage area. We will be talking with Wadsworth senior Gavin Madigan here in a little bit and telling you about where we are going next week. But now we are joined by first team all everything. Whatever award you can throw at it, he's first team. It doesn't matter what it is. But truly, he's the reigning Suburban League MVP, first team All-Ohio running back. He is the career leader in points scored in Medina County history. So far, he's got about 124 carries, just under 1,100 yards, 22 rushing touchdowns, 24 overall. We are joined by Casey Myser from the Highland Hornets. Casey, thanks for taking time to join us tonight.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on, guys.
Hey, Casey, before we really get into the nuts and bolts of it, just a tremendous junior year, tremendous senior year up to this point. Now, last year you ran for over 2,000 yards, and this year about half that. But your team has been just as dominant, if not more so. So talk about how really efficient your offense has been, and really, for that matter, how it plays off the defense, and getting to those numbers where they are.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, defense has been lights out every single week. They preach like turnovers, punching the ball out, and they just do great every single week. And on the offensive side of the ball, we got a lot of returning guys in the like our specialists. We got a lot of returning guys, and also Grady Gibb. I mean, he's lighting up at quarterback. But talking about our receivers too, we got Nick, Evan, Lucas, all those guys. Jake, they're all great receivers, and a lot of people want to talk about our offensive line, and maybe that was going to be a struggle for us this year. But to be honest with you, I mean, they've been doing so great. I'm so proud of all those boys up front. So yeah, I think we got a really great team this year, and I think we're going to continue with that.
Casey, thank you for taking the time and joining us tonight, and congratulations on the win against Briceville. You talked about that offensive line because I feel like they make those big holes for you, and you're popping the pads everywhere. I feel like when every run you ever make or every touchdown you're breaking in that. Just kind of talk about how that offensive line, not just this game, but how they've been productive for you all season long with breaking those kind of touchdowns.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's where it starts up front. They're all great up front. I love all those dudes. I tell them all thank you after I score touchdowns. I go talk to my sideline. We all watch the film together. But it's awesome. I'm really close to those guys. I got my step brother blocking for me, some returning dudes, and some dudes I'm really close with too. So it's really special. Those dudes up front, they're beasts. But also the receivers too. Those dudes block great down the field. When maybe some dudes about to come catch me, they'll push them out of the way and help me get in the end zone.
Casey, before we get on the air, we kind of talked about your football career. Then you're very good at baseball too. You got college offers for both, but when it comes to being an athlete of that that level, just can you talk about kind of the focus that you have and that you had to develop throughout your high school career in order to be that successful? I mean, it just doesn't happen on game days where you can perform. It's all year long. Just talk about that focus that you have to really play at that high level.
Yeah, definitely. It takes a lot of discipline. Weight room all year round. That's definitely one thing I'm huge on. So I got to stay in the weight room. Right now I'm balancing baseball and football. So I'm going baseball on the weekends, and then during the week and Fridays I'm doing football. So definitely a lot of balancing, definitely a lot of discipline. I do love both sports so much. So it's super easy for me because I love both sports so much. But yeah, for sure, definitely a lot of discipline. Stay in the weight room. Got to get fast. Got to stay fast. And then on the flip side, in the baseball aspects, just continuing to hitting every day, getting my arm strength up, long tossing, things of that nature.
Casey, I cover the Suburban League American. You guys have been dominant for the last 4 or 5 years. In that division, you guys are switching divisions on me next year. Not too happy about that, but I'll allow it to happen. But I do want to ask a couple questions. You've been with this. This is your senior year, and you've been with Coach Gibbons for God knows how long. What is he given to you as far as a player-coach relationship coming into not only your senior year, but coming off arguably probably one of the best years for a running back we've seen in the last 5 years, last year, your junior year?
Yeah, I mean, me and Coach Gibbons, we've developed a pretty good relationship. When I was coming in, 8th grade freshman year, I mean, that was probably the scariest dude I've ever talked to. But I mean, now I'm still scared of him. Don't get me wrong, but he's super cool, and he's definitely someone I can trust and I can talk to when I need help with picking out a college or getting my recruitment out there. He's definitely a huge help with that. And on the other side, he's also just a great person to talk to. If I ever like need something during school, I just, go up to him and be like, hey coach, can you help me out with this? And he's always there for me and all of the team to be for that.
Casey, I can confirm that I've seen him on the sidelines covering you guys, and he scares the crap out of me sometimes too. So again, it's not just high school kids. I'm in my 40s, and the guy intimidates me a little bit too. So,
Casey, imagine seeing him in pads.
Yeah, no, there's a couple of times where in practice I think he's about to go put some pads on. But
I would love to see that.
Intense. Yeah,
that would be fun to see. I could see Coach Gibbons lighting it up a little bit.
Yeah, he kind of he reminds me of Coach Vrabel from New England, and yeah, I did see him pop the pads in college, and that dude is not one to be messed with. So I empathize with you there, Casey.
For sure.
Now, Casey, after last season, you guys exited out of the playoffs a little earlier probably than you guys would have liked. What did you and your teammates do in the offseason? Like, what was your game plan after last year? What did you guys want to improve on this season to make this season a success?
Yeah, definitely. That game was definitely very heartbreaking last year. A lot of seniors that I loved. I was playing with my stepbrother. He was on that team with me, so losing him, so that all sucked. I mean, I loved all those dudes on that team. But the thing that we kind of been preaching this year is just being above the line and chasing that top 1%. So like, every single day in practice, we always just chase that top 1%. And we know in that game, there's a lot of stuff that didn't go our way. So in these big games, we know we got to clean up those little things. So we can just, play great the entire game. And hopefully those mistakes don't happen again.
Talk with senior running back from Highland, Casey Myser. Casey, talk about how good Grady Gibb has been this year. Like extremely efficient. We read about in the Medina Gazette. They've done a great job of covering Highland. A first year varsity starter, which tends to happen at schools like Highland, just because of how it's set up. But he's shown the lights aren't too big for him. We talked to him earlier this season, but the lights are not too big for him. Playoffs aren't too big for him. Talk about his composure when he stepped up to be the starter this year.
Yeah, definitely. Coming in first game, like usually I would think like a lot of first year starters would be pretty nervous, but I mean he came in there full confidence, just ready right away, and that was awesome to see. And Grady's also one of my best friends too. Like he's another kid that I played baseball with in the summer and in the high school, so he's another kid's very disciplined too, always in the weight room. And then like me and him every single day we're at the batting cages during baseball season. We're just hitting together for an hour after school every single day. So definitely super disciplined kid. He's like literally watches more film than anyone I've ever seen. So he literally knows like defenses inside and out. So that's just great to have. So super hardworking kid. And I'm so happy with the season he's having as well.
Casey, we talk a lot about accolades here. We obviously listed off a bunch of accolades for you. What's been the biggest surprise to you getting all these accolades? I know you mentioned, I read a very good article in Cleveland.com about how, those records seemed unattainable. And now that you have gotten them and surpassed them, what's been that message that maybe you're passing down to the younger guys, saying, hey, I was in the same boat you were, like you said, coming in 8th grade, coming in, freshman year. What are some of the things that you can take from this journey that you're still on and pass along to those younger guys that are looking up to you, saying, I want to be like Casey Myser when I put on the green and black?
Yeah, definitely. The thing is you got to put in the extra work, the extra hours. Like you can't just expect to come to our lifting class and during school and just lift there, and you can't just expect to come out to practice and be good. Like it's definitely the extra hours. Like there was literally a rainstorm the other day during our football at the end of our football practice, and some guys are coming in, but I mean our quarterback, all receivers, we're all out there getting extra work in. So that's definitely the big thing. You gotta put in the extra work. It's not just what you do at practice or what you do in the weight room. It's all the extra work. It's when people aren't watching. That's what is gonna separate you from other people.
Casey, we often talk about a lot of these teams around here that they're not just teams, they're programs, Highland being one of them. And again, you mentioned you were coming to 8th grade, 9th grade. Talk about how important having this program, Coach Gibbons, and how the youth program is set up, how important that was for you and your development as you came on as a sophomore, starting to get some success, and obviously as a junior and now a senior.
Yeah, it definitely starts from youth. We got great youth coaches, and also like just even the varsity coaches. We set up like youth camps. Like we got many youth camps over the summer that so many kids come to, and all the varsity kids are there helping out. So I mean, everyone's really connected from the youth levels up from the varsity level. Like we got like little kids like your youth kids running around with water bottles on the sideline, talking to us. So they all think that's the coolest thing in the world, and it's really cool. But they'll come in our locker room too, talk to us. So it's definitely something where we're all connected from like a really young level, and it kind of just builds that family at a really young level that people want to stick with, and be on a Friday night field wearing the green and black. So it's really cool.
Casey, you talked about in the opening, you talked about how the defense has been dominant this year. Not only have they been dominant the last 3 games, giving up 21 points, they've been dominant all season, only giving up 54 points. It's really up to you guys as an offense, really set up a great momentum with scoring a lot of those touchdowns. Talk about how the defense has been preparing every single week, just be continuing to get better every week as you guys are preparing for yet another home playoff game coming up on Friday night.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those dudes. I mean, those dudes are intense. Like they get after it in practice. Like they're some dogs. Like seriously, those dudes are really intense. Like they're always watching film in school. Like my buddy had a funny interview where he was saying he was watching film in school. That's besides the point. But no, they're always watching film in school. They got a defensive party, they call it, during lunch. So they'll go to that with our coach, and they'll watch film during lunch. So that's pretty cool. And then every Thursday night before the games, they all get together, the whole defense, and they kind of just like tell what the game plan is, and then they all get together, get some good food. And they actually invite me to that too. They call me the offense representative, so it's pretty cool and pretty special. But yeah, no, those dudes are really intense, and they definitely get after it week in and week out.
We're talking with senior running back from Highland, Casey Myser. Casey, you've been a part of this program as long as you have, and due to the success that Highland's had, you've had a lot of playoff games in the last few years. Talk about how important those playoff games are for the program to get those extra practices, get those extra reps, and that extra level of competition, especially now as a senior. How's that helped you as you've gone through your career?
Yeah, our coach preaches it all the time. Like these extra reps during playoffs are super important, especially the younger guys. Like for me, like being a freshman, like from being a freshman and now, like all these extra reps and all these extra playoff games we have, they're very important because like we have almost an entire extra season of practice from just playoff practices and these playoff games. We have an entire season pretty much piled up from these years.
Casey, you guys got another big playoff game at home coming up against the number 4 seed North Ridgeville Rangers, a team that you were guys familiar with a couple of years ago, and you beat them. Without giving too much away, what are some of the things that you've seen from North Ridgeville as you guys are preparing to face them Friday night in the regional semifinals?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely know they're a big team. They're gonna come in here with win or go home mentality, just like us. I mean, every play matters, every possession matters. So we gotta come in here, just ready to hit some people, and we really want to win that game and get back to to that game where we were last year.
And it's gonna be a heck of a battle at Gateway Field here in Hinckley, Grange Township, between North Ridgeville and Highland. Casey, thanks for taking the time and joining us tonight. Good luck to you for you and the Hornets for the rest of the season, and especially for you as baseball a little bit further down the line. But we wish you the best there as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on, guys.
Thanks, Casey.
Thanks, Casey.
Thanks,
Good
Casey.
luck.
That is a senior running back from the Highland Hornets, Casey Myser, joining us tonight. Tremendous interview there. Lots of good stuff there about Grady Gibb, the offense, the defense, the extra work that they put in. If you're watching this and if you're a student athlete or you're a younger child or even a parent, he laid it out for you. just going to the practices and just going to the weightlifting it's great, but to be even better, you got to put the work in afterwards, extra hours, doing things when no one's watching. That is what gets you that next level from good to great, and from great
Kind of like little
to
Eddie.
elite.
Currently
Do great
climbing
things
the
when no
wall.
one's watching, but I'm watching.
Yeah, Black Mullet's doing really good things.
Dude, that thing's
watching
money,
there.
man. That thing's
That's right.
money.
But I mean, just we've talked about it. I mean, Highland is an elite program.
No doubt.
With student athletes like with Casey, and everyone that's come from before him. It started. You really started with Coach Lombardo, and then Coach Gibbons takes over, puts his own stamp on it, and they have that program is a finely tuned machine, and they're going to give North Ridgeville all they can handle when the Rangers come there on Friday night.
And I think that's what North Ridgeville's trying to do. Coach Morgan's really turned around the North Ridgeville program. They're not necessarily a juggernaut like the Highlands, Wadsworth, and Avons. The top three teams, you can tell they're all kind of the same. They have that same culture. They have the same, a lot of depth and just athletes all over the place. Where North Ridgeville's trying to get there. They're trying to build a program a lot like that, and they've done a nice job. But Highland overall, I mean, every year you see it, they lose a running back or quarterback, and then they get a guy like Casey Myser to come over, and I mean, he's been amazing for how many years there. He's really carried that program, and I think just talking to him, you could tell he has helped. I'm sure as a leader on that team, develop some of these young players to play in at a high level, and Highland's going to be tough. They've had an amazing season. I don't know if they've had a close game yet this season. That's why he hasn't had a ton of, maybe as many rushing yards, because I don't know if he's played a full game. Has he this year?
Well, he really hasn't, and it's been impressive what Highland's been able to do. And as much as we, no coach is going to sit there and say my master plan is to do this. You look at now how much less mileage is on a running back on those legs for a Casey Myser, exactly for this purpose. They want to be in a position to where they're hitting on all cylinders, barring any sort of catastrophic injury. Yep. And you hope that doesn't happen. But, you're looking at this and the confidence of which Highland is playing with right now. And it was oozing off of Casey Myser. That's a guy right there that has all the confidence in the world in his offensive line, which was a question mark. He mentioned it coming in this season. Not so much anymore, considering the fact that they put up a massive amount of points in a defense that, as Noah pointed out so poignantly, 54 points over a span of 11 games.
Yeah.
That's insanity. That's insanity right now. Like, say what you will about, and again, we talk about Wadsworth. These two teams are the same team, just different colors. And, it's really fun to watch. But I think if you look at this Highland team, they just seem like it's every week is business. It's not emotional. It's very cold. It's very calculated. They don't, like, winning last week was great. Casey Myser summed it up. We need to get back to the regional finals and erase that loss from last year, because that's still in their mouth from last year.
Yep.
And oh, by the way, the team they lost to went on to win the state championship. That's the level that they expect themselves to be at. That's exactly what you want for any program. And Coach Gibbons has done a great job in turning this program into, in my opinion, the power in Medina County. It's the cream of the crop, and that's saying something when you consider Buckeyes there, Medina's there, Wadsworth. Those are all there. They're all there. But I got to say, I really enjoy watching what we're seeing out of these teams, and it's fantastic football to watch. I don't care who you are. Ed's got to put it.
No, that's my turns off. Sorry. Yeah, good. Yeah, there he is. Sean, you have it right. We're gonna start really seeing the battle of Medina County supremacy for the bigger schools starting next year, when you have Medina, Wadsworth, and Highland all in the same conference.
Right.
That is going to be some insane matchups that are going on, and if they can find a way to get Brunswick on the non-conference to kind of wrap that up, that's going to be even better. But shifting from one Medina County school to the next, we're very happy to be joined here by senior running back and defensive back. He's going to Army. His name is he's having a heck of a year so far this year. He's got 104 carries, 1,100 yards, 21 rush touchdowns, 22 overall for the undefeated Suburban League Natty champions, the Wadsworth Grizzlies. Gavin Madigan joins us tonight. Gavin, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for joining us. I know you got a lot to prepare for, obviously, given who the opponent is. So we certainly appreciate you taking the time to join us. Last week a real good battle against a tough team from the Toledo area in St. Francis de Sales. Talk about the preparation for that game. You guys had the bye week there, so you didn't know who you were going to play until Friday night. But talk about the Toledo St. Francis de Sales game and getting ready for them.
Yeah, we talked about it all week. They weren't your average 7 seed. They were really, really athletic, and they're a physical football team. So we knew the challenge we had ahead of us last week, and I think we took care of business Friday night, but props to them. That's a really good football team. They're really talented, and they have some great players, and they're coached really well.
Gavin, thank you so much for taking the time joining us, and congratulations on the regional quarterfinal win on Friday night. Not only did you have a great game, your quarterback, Bryson Hull, who is a sophomore, continues to get better, I feel like, every which week. And your wide receiver and Air Force commit, Caleb Slamp, he also had a great game. Talk about how those two have been evolving, not only just this game on your offense, but the whole season. And what's it like to be playing with those two?
Yeah, I mean, we'll start with Bryson Hall. I mean, he doesn't play like a sophomore at all. I think anyone that watches the games can tell that, but I think that just goes to his he prepares so hard, and he watches so much film, and he does so much stuff after practice with us and the rest of the guys. So I'm not surprised by any of that success because I see how hard he works. And then Calix, obviously, he's been one of my best friends growing up. He's a senior, and we have similar post high school plans here, going to a military academy. So it's been fun going through that with him, but he works super hard just like Bryson does. So to see them clicking it's great, and it's great to be playing with other great players. It takes a lot off my back, and they've been doing a really good job this year.
Gavin, one thing that we see a lot, obviously in high school football, is two-way players. You're one of them, but as we see, Wadsworth is one of those teams that have a lot of two-way players that play at an extremely high level. Just talk about that as, for you being, the starting safety, one of the leaders on the defense, and then going on the offensive end. Just talk about how that has kind of formed, identity with the Wadsworth program.
Yeah, I think everyone who does play both ways on our team just appreciates the opportunity to impact the game in as many ways as we can, whether it's offense, defense, and then some of us are on special teams. Just every opportunity we can get to impact the game, I think helps our team. And shout out to our coaching staff. They put us in amazing positions. And a lot of teams view players as assets. And in my opinion, our coaching staff is like a 12th player. They do such an excellent job throughout the week. And shout out to them for making us look a lot better than we really are and putting us in great positions on Fridays.
Gavin, I'm so happy that you're talking with us. And I want to kind of focus a little bit away from the game, and I've always liked asking players who have decided to go to a service academy, what went into that decision, and what is something that you're looking most forward to heading up to West Point in the fall or in the summer? I don't even know how it works. I mean, you could be gone after the football season for all we know.
Yeah, I'll leave in June, so this summer I'll leave late June. But what kind of draws me there, I just loved what the military was all about. I've always kind of had a knack for it, and I've had a sense of pride and gratitude of what the opportunities I've been given, and that's kind of my way of paying that back. And so I pursued the academy pretty hard, and then eventually they gave me the phone call and they gave me the opportunity. But I was going to apply there whether I had the chance to play football or not. So when they gave me that call, it made my decision pretty easy. But I'm just looking forward to them being able to mold me into an incredible leader, and then the degree I'm going to get from there is special, and then the brotherhood that they always talk about is special, and to be a part of that means a lot to me.
Well, I'll say this: it's an impressive thing to do, and it's something that, again, it's something that I think is awesome, and it's one of the things that I personally want to thank you for your upcoming service, going forward. But it's something that's a very special thing that any young athlete gets an opportunity to do, and very, very, very happy for you and your family and how that works out for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks, Gavin, for talking with us. Interesting perspective on how you play both sides of the ball. How do you prepare in the off season, knowing that you're going to play offense and defense? How do you stay in shape? So you can go on offense, because you're obviously the running back. You're having a great season there, but then to flip, say after a long touchdown run, then you have to go on defense. How do you stay in shape, and what's the training like in the off season so that it enables you to be successful during the season?
Yeah, throughout the winter, it's a lot of strength training, and gaining a little bit of weight back from the season and stuff like that. But as I transitioned into the spring and stuff like that, running track and doing some other things, because if I just did what everyone else was doing, I'd be out of shape for my role on the team. And so I have to do a little bit extra, keeping my body right and things like that. And what comes with that is having to do a little bit more recovery, because I have a little bit more miles on my tires. So you got to do a little bit of recovery, staying after practice a little bit later to take care of my body so that I'm able to serve my role on the team better. But shout out to the coaches and my teammates for, pushing me every day to do things like that.
Geez, I can only imagine the tread on your tires when it comes to the tread on all of our tires. So
it's flat tires over here.
We're talking with senior running back and safety from Wadsworth, Gavin Madigan. A pretty unique stat for Wadsworth. Only 2 times in school history this has happened. 2 1,000-yard rushers between yourself and Cooper Gray. So I imagine Cooper running as well as he does has a little bit to do with you being able to spend a little bit more time on the defense and being as efficient there.
Yeah, I've said this in a couple other interviews after games and stuff like that, but our relationship means a lot to me just because I'm able to spend a little bit more time on defense, and then when I come over to the offensive side, he's able to catch me up. He's a really smart kid. You'll have to ask him, but I think he's going to college to be a doctor, be a surgeon, and so, he's got the smarts, he's got the brain for it, and so he helps me a lot just with how much time I spend on defense and then being able to shift that over to offense. It's awesome. And then coming off the field, if I see something I like and then he goes in for a rep or two, we're always relaying information back and forth to each other to make each other successful.
Yeah, the way that you guys are carving up the opposing defenses, it's a real surgical procedure. See what I did there?
God. It was he couldn't wait to make that reference.
He was waiting.
Gavin, it's this year's the first year with this playoff format, and you guys had the first round bye. So a couple questions here. How did you personally feel about that first round bye? Was it beneficial to you? And then now, since you guys are winning, you guys are hosting regional semifinals, which I don't think there's been a team hosting a regional semifinals, in ever. So just talk about how that bye week for you, and then just the thought about hosting that regional semifinal game.
Yeah, that bye week. I'm a big routine guy, so at first glance, I wasn't a huge fan of it. It kind of took me out of the routine a little bit, but then once we're able to take advantage of, like I said earlier, some recovery stuff and taking care of our bodies, and then just another week to get better and another week to spend with the guys was awesome. And then this Friday, what an opportunity to play in front of the home crowd again. Here at Wadsworth, we take so much pride in playing in front of our home crowd, and it's such a great opportunity. And as seniors, it's our last time on that field, no matter what happens. And so to leave it all out there with such a great community that's rallied behind us all year, it's special.
Gavin, like you said, and it's going to be an amazing crowd Friday night when you guys go up against the team that you guys were very familiar with, the defending state champion, the Avon Eagles, who knocked out your guys' season last year, 41-10. But looking back on a couple questions, number one, what are some of the things that you guys have learned from last year's regional semifinal game? And then number two, without giving too much away, what are some of the things that you have seen from Avon as you're preparing them to see them once again coming up on Friday?
Yeah, going back to last year, going into that game, obviously Avon's an excellent program with so much history. So to play that standard and to see what that looks like, I think we took that into the offseason this year and know what we needed to do to be successful this year. And then just preparing for them this year, they have incredible players. Like I said, it's an excellent program. Their coaching staff is really good. They're really well coached. They spend a lot of time in the weight room. They're a really good team. So we're excited for the challenge. They have great players, and we're excited.
Gavin, since you've been with Wadsworth, and I'm trying to figure out some more numbers here. Okay, you guys have played at least 2 playoff games in every season. Last year it was 3, if I'm not mistaken. How has those extra playoff games and those extra playoff weeks helped you and the rest of the team out, especially drawing upon that now as a senior?
Yeah, just like I said earlier, another every week you have an opportunity to play a game. It's special. So when you can lengthen those seasons as much as possible and get as many opportunities as you can, looking back on it as a senior, you're never going to regret those opportunities. So just going to work every day with a one day at a time mindset and a one game season every year going into those playoff games, it's special to play playoff football, and that's kind of what we harped today at practice. We had so much fun in the snow, and what a blessing it was to be out there.
There's no doubt about that. Snow football is the best football. So, and quite honestly, there's not a whole lot of venues that are better than the one you guys have out in Wadsworth. And Josh will attest to that multiple times over. So, Gavin, thank you very much. We wish you the best of luck this week and for the rest of the season, and certainly for you and your career as you move on to the Armed Forces.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, and we appreciate everything you guys do for Northeast Ohio football.
Thanks, Gavin.
Thanks, Gavin. Appreciate it. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gavin.
That is senior running back and safety Gavin Madigan from Wadsworth. The common thread between both Casey and Gavin is putting the extra work in. That to get to where you want to go at an elite level, it's all about putting the work in. You practice, you lift weights, but you take yourself as far as you want to go. Very, very, very rarely does natural ability, without putting the hard work in, get you where you want to be. So, again, a great lesson for anyone, whoever's watching this. Take that to heart. If you have a student athlete, if you are a student athlete or someone a little on the younger side, or if you're a parent and you want to instill that in your student athlete, future student athletes, take their advice to heart, because it's fantastic.
And it's always good to when you get on a live YouTube show to prop up your coaches. That goes very well. It goes a long way with your coaches for sure.
Doesn't
hurt.
No,
Coach
for sure.
Gibbons, from what we know about both Coach Tyler and Coach Gibbons, the last thing they want to know is for anything to be about them.
Right.
But it's certainly it certainly speaks to the quality of them and their staff, with their star players speaking so highly of them. So a lot of good stuff all around. So we want to thank Casey and Gavin for joining us tonight before their huge matchups, both in Division II, Region 6. All right, let's set up the regional semifinals for the regions we have left. And Noah, why don't you take it away for Division I, Region 1?
All right, thank you, Ed. And the number 1 seed, St. Edward Eagles, will be taking on the Toledo Whitmer. And this will be a pretty good matchup, I feel like, in this game. So, excuse me, guys. All right. And then the number 2 seed, the Menor Cardinals, the GC champion, will be taking on the number 3, Canton McKinley Wildcats. This was the matchup from last year's regional semifinal matchup in a game which Menor dominated 31-10. And it's going to be very interesting to see how Canton McKinley is going to come out in this game. I feel like they've used that loss as motivation coming into not only this season, but I feel like they've been using it for this game as motivation and that. So Menor has been dominated all year, and can they continue to do what they've done all season as they go up against a familiar opponent from last year? And it's going to be very interesting to see how Canton McKinley's going to be playing with Menor in this game.
Yeah, you mentioned it's a rematch from last year in Menor. Menor is playing at an extremely high level. As you mentioned, the Fox A Player of the Year in Jackson Farley. Just an absolute stud. Menor has a lot of good things going on right now. McKinley obviously plays a really tough schedule in the Federal League, and with that game at Massillon at the end, so that'll certainly not be. That's gonna be a really good game. Whitmer finally gets to see a different opponent. They played Perrysburg twice in the last 2 games. They've wrapped up the regular season with them, and then they had to play them again in the first round of the playoffs. So Whitmer gets a game against St. Ed's. Not that I want to give St. Ed's any help because they don't certainly need it. I will guarantee that Whitmer will do an onside kick at some point. They will do an onside kick. It will either start the game, they'll start the second half. They're going to do it. It's going to happen. I've seen it twice now. They did it against Brunswick in 2007. They also did it against St. Ed's in 2010 on St. Ed's' route to the championship when Coach Hunick was there as an offensive on the offensive side. So I feel pretty good about that. So good luck to Mentor in Division I, Region 1. All right, Josh is going to take over Division II, Region 5.
Yeah, we're going to start off with it's actually the number 2 seed taking on the number 3 seed, Austintown Fitch. We'll play Walsh Jesuit. This is going to be, Austintown Fitch kind of struggled a little bit with Green in the quarterfinal matchup, so they're going to have to be on their A game. Walsh is 2nd seed, playing really good football right now. The one lone representative left from our coverage area in this region is Hudson. They play Akron Archbishop Hoban, which is they run roughshod over this region. They are the top seed. I think when the season started, I think everyone had it was going to be Walsh and Hoban to kind of really see who will come out of this region. And so far, it's looking like that. We'll see if Austintown Fitch and Hudson have anything to say about that. But we know Hudson's defense is going to show up. They have all year. They're going to have to in this game. And, for Hudson on the offensive end, they're going to have to get that running game going. It's going to be difficult against Hoban. Their defense is really good, but they're going to have to get that running game going, keep Hoban's offense off the field, and just, give a little break to your defense and let them perform when they have to.
That's a great breakdown, Josh. I don't think there's really more needs to be said about that. So I think that's fantastic work.
Thank you.
I think Hudson's got their work cut out for him. But we'll see if they can. Let's see if they can give Hoban a run and see if they can get to the regional championship. Right, Division II, Region 6, and this is SOT Bowl 3 and 4.
Sponsored by Raymond Felton State Farm.
Yeah, this whole region is just phenomenal. So we have SWC versus American, and then we have SWC versus Natty. So let's start with SWC versus Natty, Wadsworth and Avon.
Go ahead, Rob.
All right, yeah, this is gonna be a game. I mean, Avon was very excited after getting the win versus Olmsted Falls. I know Coach Elder and the team was excited to travel to Wadsworth. They know what kind of atmosphere it is. I think they're really excited for just what's going to be a great game. I mean, 2 similar teams that have a lot of depth, whether it's passing, whether it's running the football. Both are explosive offenses. What defense is going to make plays here? Like I said, Avon's defense, they have played exceptionally well. Their offense was clicking last week. I mean, they have weapons just all over the place. Not one receiver. They have 2 or 3. They have, I think I named off 4 running backs, so they spread it out quite a bit. And Blake Elder, you want to talk about consistency. He's passing the ball at a high level, and last week actually used his feet to run to get, once he felt the pressure, got out and ran, which could add another dynamic there. So this is going to be a great game. It can go either way. Both teams playing at a high level, and Wadsworth is a tough place to play.
Yeah, and then when we talked to Gavin, one, I think, really important thing that he mentioned, and Noah, you asked a question about what they learned from last year's loss to Avon, and I really think the coaching staff took that to heart this year, knowing where if they wanted to go where they, obviously think they can go, it's going to have to go through Avon, and here we are. And I think They learned a lot. I think that this year they have become focused of not only the task at hand, but keeping an eye on their overall goal. And this is the team that, if everything's going well, could very well challenge Avon. And this is going to be a great game. I'd like to see what Bryson Hall's going to do. You know, the sophomore quarterback, he's had a really efficient season. He has not, in my opinion, not had to go and win the game for the Grizzlies a lot this year because they've just been dominating. So let's see what he can do against a team like Avon. This is going to be a very big step, and we'll see how, in just that 1 year from becoming a freshman to a sophomore, see how much he's grown. Gavin also said he prepares like no other.
Yeah.
And for a sophomore, that's huge. So
Yeah.
let's see how it's going to result this Friday.
That's what I wonder, how Avon's defense, are they going to try and really stop the run? Because, Wadsworth's a tough team to stop, when you stop the run. But if they stop the run, maybe they want to see what Bryson Hall can do and maybe get pressure on him and force him into some mistakes. It should be an interesting one to keep an eye out.
I think this is just get this out of the way while we're talking about it. But who's going to cover this game?
I'll be there.
Here we go.
To be honest, fellas, my first trip to Wadsworth has come right now. I have been able to make it out there all year, but I've waiting for the best time of the year, and it's going to be this Friday.
It's going to be a great one.
All right, so make sure you follow us on Twitter/X at SOT Podcast to get the live updates from Josh for this battle of the immovable object against the irresistible force. Two conference champions between Wadsworth and Avon. All right, the number 1 seed, the Highland Hornets, taking on the number 4 seed, the North Ridgeville Rangers. And this game is going to be a heck of a battle too. So why don't you guys take it away between Rob and Sean?
Sean, you want to start us off?
No, I want you to talk about it.
All right, let's talk a little bit about North Ridgeville. This is a team, like I said earlier, Coach Morgan said, a lot of people wrote off the North Ridgeville Rangers this year, didn't think they'd be a great team, and I think they took that to heart. Right now, they're having probably the most successful season in history in North Ridgeville. I know Noah had all kinds of things to say about that stat-wise with North Ridgeville and Avon. But North Ridgeville, they played a great season. Their only loss comes to an Avon team, and most teams can say that this year. One thing I think they're going to have other players step up other than Cole Miller. I'm going to guess Highland's defense, which has been exceptionally good this year, is going to try and put the clamps on Cole Miller. I mean, he's their do-it-all quarterback. He can run, he can pass. But we're going to have wide receivers and some other running backs step up. I think some other running backs did step up against Anthony Wayne there in the last game. I think they're going to have other players make some big plays if they want to really contend and give Highland a game, because Highland has weapons all over the place too, and their defense is really good. So they're going to try and take Cole Miller out of the game because he's their everything quarterback. So let's see what North Ridgeville can do. This is going to be a tough battle. It's tough to win in Highland, but I think North Ridgeville can do it. They're just going to have to play pretty flawless, perfect football.
That's the key there, Rob. For a team like North Ridgeville to beat a team like Highland, they're going to have to play perfect, and they're going to have to make Highland do something that's been uncharacteristic of them all year, which is make mistakes. Can it happen? Absolutely. These are high school football. This is playoffs. It can happen. You can have a bad night. What I see out of Highland is consistency. On the defensive side of the ball, they are consistent. High-flying, high-scoring teams that have been putting up, gaudy numbers when they play Highland, they don't do that because they are very well coached. The Highland defense is very well coached. On the flip side, the offense, they take advantage of mistakes that the defense forces of the other team. And that's very hard we talked about it a lot, the snowball effect when you talk about Highland. You make a mistake, they make you pay. Now they're going to make you make more mistakes, and it's just going to snowball on top of you. I would give all the credit in the world to North Ridgeville to come out there and smack them in the mouth early and try and get maybe steal a possession here or there. Wouldn't be shocked if they maybe ran a couple of trick plays, because you got to throw something at the wall here to see if it sticks against a team like Highland. Highland is a very well-coached, disciplined, fundamental team. They are consistent. They are all business, whether they're home, whether they're away. They want to get to where they were last year and beyond. And they see North Ridgeville team as a hurdle to get to where they want to be. Casey Myser said it. The mantra for the Hornets all year has been be the upper 1%. And that's where they're performing right now. They have to take that next step to get to that level and find that level. But I look at a team like North Ridgeville, Rob, and maybe I'm wrong. This program is ahead of schedule, in my opinion. When you look at this team, they are where they are for one, great coaching, great play by Cole Miller. It's a fantastic team, but they are maybe a year ahead of schedule where they should be as far as getting this deep in the playoffs. To no fault of their own, they played very well. Their only loss to the state champion, and again, they put it on some teams in the Southwestern Conference, so they've earned their place. Don't get me wrong, but I think I agree with you, Rob, that people wrote North Ridgeville off, and they're a program that's like, hey, let's shock the world. And I think this is a team where we could be talking about, next week, hey, they came in and shocked the world. And I don't think it would surprise anyone on this show, because that's how they've been playing all year. No one expected them to run as much roughshod over the Southwestern Conference, minus an Avon team. I don't think any of us saw that coming. And again, that's a credit to where this team is. They're superseding where I think a lot of people thought they would be, and that's great for them. But again, Highland's a different animal, man. And I look for Highland to take advantage and to really make a statement in this semifinal game. If whoever comes out of that Wadsworth Avon game, that you got to come through Highland. It's no longer matchup. It's Highland is the team to beat. And I think that's my gut feeling with this game. So much so that I'm going to take the journey to Highland, and I will be romping the sidelines on both sides of the sidelines to make sure I give equal due to the Hornets and the Rangers for this game. I will be in Highland to cover this game because I think it's probably one of the best games of the week.
Sean, correct me if I'm wrong. Can you remind me what city do you live in?
North Ridgeville.
Oh, okay.
No.
Maybe this week you might just want to lay low a little bit.
Listen, I'm telling you,
or at least
right
don't wear
now,
sports on tap gear when you go out.
Listen, I will wear sports on tap. I got no problem being the bulletin board material for teams, because my ugly mug on a bulletin board is fine. I hope it'd be great if they won. But again, I think everybody can agree Highland is a different animal.
For sure.
I've covered Highland a lot longer than I've lived in North Ridgeville. So I'll say this, and I'm happy as a clam that where North Ridgeville is where they are, because I think it brings a lot of pride. The fact that this region encompasses these teams is insane. It's fantastic, and it's great because it shows how good these conferences, the Suburban American, Suburban Natty, Southwestern Conference, Greater Cleveland West Conference, the Greater Cleveland Conference, these teams are all well represented, not just in the opening rounds, but deep into the rounds. And I think that's something to be celebrated. Southwestern Conference usually gets 2 teams every single year in this situation. Every single year we've had 2 Southwestern Conference teams in here. This is the first time I think we've had all 4 teams that are in our coverage area. So this needs to be celebrated, boys. We've done a good job. I take no credit for the performance of these teams, but we picked good conferences, man. We covered good conferences. We covered good teams for a reason.
And I bet Coach Morgan is going to be telling his team, hey, guys, we're playing with house money here. Nobody believes we can beat the Highland Hornets, so let's go out there and let's shock the world. That's
team.
Probably, I'm going to guess, the message probably this week.
All right, so Sean will be a great breakdown there, gentlemen. So Sean will be heading out to Highland for Highland versus North Ridgeville. All right, let's shift over to Division 3, Region 10, and boy, we got a heavyweight battle here between. Let's start first. Wapakoneta versus Toledo Central Catholic. Now, Wapakoneta is a very good team. They've done some damage this year. They've put up a lot of points. They've scored at least 40 points in at least 7 of their games, and that includes last week a 41-16 decision over Shawnee. They beat a 9-2 Bath team 61-34. So they know how to score some points. They also defeated the aforementioned St. Mary Memorial by a count of 42-7. So Wapakoneta is a good team. Now Toledo Central Catholic, however, again, is a juggernaut. They have won state championships in multiple divisions, and they just happened to reside in Division III, Region 10. And this game, it's going to be Toledo Central Catholics. I will pick them to win every game in Division III until someone beats them, and that includes the winner of the next battle, which we'll get to here in a minute. So Central Catholic from Toledo will travel to Wapakoneta. And I'll give them this. I don't think Central Catholics had to travel as much in the playoffs as much as they are doing this year due to their lower seed with the tough schedule they have. But the road doesn't bother them. But I want to see I do want to see what Wapakoneta can do as the number 2 seed here. All right. The number 1 seed, the Buckeye Bucks, against the number 5 seed, the Rocky River Pirates. This is a rematch of Week 9's CWC Championship game where Buckeye defeated Rocky River 35-27. And this game was a back and forth game. And you have two very contrasting styles. Rocky River, they have a phenomenal quarterback in Ryan Taylor. They have a phenomenal receiving core with Danny Berg, Rowan Kennedy, and Syracuse commit Tristan Hughes. Joey DeSalvo runs the ball. Defensively, they're very stout defensively. Hughes plays defense as well, and it makes a big difference on the defensive end. They can put up the points, and if Ryan Taylor gets hurt this year, like he did in recent years, they have a very capable quarterback in Carter Atwater that can step right in and take over. Against Buckeye, this is a team that runs the ball a lot. They ran the ball right down Rocky River's throats last game. And I'm not saying anything that's controversial. I'm just telling you what the stats are. They ran for over 400 yards on Rocky River last game. And that was on Rocky River's turf. This game is going to be on grass. So Rocky River is going to be traveling to Buckeye in York Township on 252 for this game on grass. Turner Delata, he can throw the ball if he needs to. He just doesn't have to. But this might be a game where they might need to do that. Rocky River has played two teams that have very strong rushing attacks, so they're going to be ready. Between Midview and Revere, those two teams like to pound the rock, and they do very well at it. And Rocky River is able to hold them up. But I want to see what they can do against Buckeye. And if we know Coach Wells, he's going to have that team ready to go, physically and mentally tough in the trenches. That's where this game is going to be won. If they force Turner Delata to have to throw the ball a little bit more than he's used to, that could force some opportunities there. Maybe steal some possessions that we're not used to seeing Buckeye give away. Buckeye's got a three-headed monster at running back with Liam Phillips, Ryan Wilhelm, and Roan Kretler. Jacob Snyderburn is this year's Trey Weidemeyer. Every time he catches the ball, it seems to be a touchdown. Their offensive line's phenomenal. Their defense is really good. So all bets are off in this game when you have a rematch of a championship game that was just played about 4 weeks ago, and I'm looking forward to this battle. And whoever comes out of this one's going to earn their trip to the Division III Region 10 Championship, and I believe one of us is going to that game as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I will be headed to Buckeye, where I can't wait to see this game. After talking to Sean when he was at the Rocky River Buckeye game, I mean, that was just a heavyweight battle. I mean, back and forth. It was a high-scoring game. This is going to be interesting. The weather, I don't think it's supposed to be bad, actually, Friday. It's supposed to be in the 50s. I know there's snow on the ground now and it's cold, but I think that should be probably cleared out by Friday. So we'll have to see, what weather that brings on the all-grass field. But that's going to be a great matchup, and I can't wait to cover it. Buckeye's a great place to watch a football game and cover it. And I can't wait to get back out there and see Rocky River. And I saw them versus North Olmsted. Tristan Hughes, man, he's a tough guy to stop, quick. Ryan Taylor can throw the ball, like you said. You broke it down perfectly. It's going to be Is it going to be a high-scoring game? I think Turner Dilotta can pass the ball. I have seen him pass versus Amherst, and he puts a nice touch on the ball. He passes almost when he needs to, though. He doesn't, they don't put him in uncomfortable positions. But I think the defense of Rocky River, if they can contain the run and force them to pass, it could be interesting to see. But overall, I can't wait to see this one.
Something to
I
keep
will
in
say
mind.
this, Rob.
Oh, yeah?
I will say this, Rob. It was a little money on Friday night when I went out to Buckeye. So just like Sean said last week, make sure you bring your boots, buddy, when I get out to Buckeye. But no, it'll be an exciting matchup. All of our matchups will be exciting. All 3 games in that. And
Yep.
Buckeye's always a great place to go out. Shout out to Buck Nation in that. I got a great shot of their student section and that, and they mentioned us on our Instagram page. So
I think I saw
it'll be
you
very
crowd
exciting.
surfing too at one point. They actually had you going down, and then they tossed you off into the crowd. That was crazy.
Sports on
Just
Tap always gets the love from Buckeye, and we really appreciate it. Always great to come out to Buckeye and it's going to be, I think everyone will be in their seat right before kickoff.
I'm
and
sure.
I'm really excited for all 3 games. And if you want to get the best coverage out of all 3 games, make sure you want to go to our X page where you're going to get the live updates, the highlights, and the post-game interviews for what all 3 games are possibly going to be the best games in the regional semifinals coverage on Sports on Tap. So make sure you check that out. And also make sure you check out our YouTube channel for all the full highlights and our show next week on Monday night when we go through the original recaps. Unfortunately, I will not be at a game, but I can't wait to watch all 3 games. I think they're going to be exciting, and I'm really looking forward to see how these teams play on Friday night.
No doubt.
All right, just to recap, we have Rob going to be at Rocky River versus Buckeye. Sean will be at Highland versus North Ridgeville. And Josh will be at Avon versus Wadsworth. All right, that is going to do it for our show tonight. We want to thank everyone for joining us. Again, if you missed it live, you are, as Noah mentioned, these shows are archived on our YouTube channel, Sports on Tap. So make sure you check us out there. We want to thank senior running back from Highland, Casey Myser, for joining us, and senior running back and safety from Wadsworth, Gavin Madigan, for joining us tonight. We'll go through the regional semifinals again next Monday, 7:30 p.m. Same time, same location as we normally are. For Rob Troutman, Sean Duffy, Noah Jacobson, and Josh Sheffy, my name is Ed Dick. It's been the high school football recap show for the regional quarterfinals presented by Raymond Felton State Farm Insurance. Stay tuned for a word for our sponsors, and we'll see you on the other side.
See you. Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is on every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Watch live on YouTube and make sure to subscribe. Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is presented by Raymond Felton State Farm.
Have you compared insurance rates lately? Are you satisfied with your current insurance provider? If not, look no further than Ray Felton State Farm, a proud sponsor of Sports on Tap. For a free quote, call his office at 234-284-2996 or visit him online at rayfelton.com.
Whether you're hosting a corporate event, wedding, conference, concert, or any other special gathering, our comprehensive range of services will exceed your expectations and elevate your event to new heights. RRT Productions. We shoot, we edit, you win. Visit our website at www.rrt-productions.com.
We've got the experience, the passion, and the beach to make your event a smash hit. Whether it's a romantic wedding, a lively sports venue, or a rocking high school dance, Troutland Entertainment has you covered. Contact them at 330-414-4261 or email them at troutlandent@gmail.com. That's troutlandent@gmail.com.
It's all about the deal at Brunswick Auto Mart. Save big this month with deals like this. Don't miss the Make This the Summer event and lease a new 2025 Ram 1500 Night Edition Crew Cab 4x4 with heated side mirrors, parking sensors, backup cam, Apple CarPlay, and lane departure warning for just $319 a month. Brunswick Auto Mart. Car buying made truly simple.